super fun. I am looking at a box from Miracell. I'm going to actually show you that name because, every once in a while you have these, like when you find a product, or maybe one of the stores is having a great sale and you want to tell everybody about it. Well, that's kind of what's happened with this. And I'm going to show you, if you just tuned in or you're seeing us on video wherever in the world, I hesitate because it's a little, I don't know, it's embarrassing, I guess, when you have these ugly scars when you start out. I mean, I came out of the hospital and I had like these railroad tracks. So I have 2 plates and I have screws and they're all in there for life. And so it was pretty frightening to think about it. But I'm going to show you, and maybe I'll be able to get a picture of what it really looked like before. But I have been incredibly diligent about using the scar cream. And this is not like a paid infomercial. What's cool about this is that if I hadn't saved that from Expo East, it could have been 3 years. It could have been easily 3 years. Yeah. But the scar cream, I can't remember. I don't think I had the skin relief. So this is the little bottle of skin relief. So I've been every day, if you have scars or maybe you're having surgery. So I've been putting this on 3 times a day. And so I'm going to show you. And my producer, Lloyd, said, we can't see them. Well, that's the point, because 90 days ago, you could see them, right? You saw them, right? So I'm going to put that up there. Duplication on the other side.
Yeah, those look a lot better.
They look a lot better.
Than when
it's
you
kind
came
of
to see
amazing.
me.
Yeah, I know. And we're going to talk to Sylvia Nibley, who also had, I don't like to say that my friends have been falling and having things happen, but lately it just seems like, I don't know, Mars is maybe affecting us, but a lot of stuff and a lot of incidents. So a couple things that you've mentioned. One, I think the truth in labeling is really important. And if you've never heard my show before, my name is Danielle Lin. We own one of the largest podcast libraries in the world. We've been on the air for 35 years. So kind of experts, I think, at this point in judging character. That's what it's all about. And one of the things you do at Miracell is you have great scrutiny in what goes into the products, in the proportion that goes into the products, and the truth in labeling. And because you're using all natural plant extracts, I asked you a couple things. First of all, why do they put color in when you can have it so beautifully natural looking? And you said you don't need color.
Right. Yeah, I mean, color is just a marketing ploy that I think people are attracted more to vibrant colors. Mm-hmm. So that's probably something like that. But the reality is, in any of your products, it's just a dye. You don't need it. Right.
And they found, I remember Sandy Gooch, who started the first major health food stores. We've talked about it on the program. She found that these dyes were actually affecting children.
Right.
So that was really where it was, that there was a correlation between the brain and the dyes. So if you see products with glycerin at the very top, is what you said.
Right.
Probably don't buy them.
Yeah, you want to stay away from them.
And also you said that if the glycerin is down lower, you said this when we were in our break, that if the glycerin is at the very bottom, but then they extend the good ingredients.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, for dyes especially, because the ingredient list is from highest to lowest, mm-hmm. A lot of times what you'll see is something like a very low concentration, like a dye, something like that, mm-hmm. or a preservative that's in a very small concentration. You'll see that, and then below that are all the so-called good ingredients. And what that means is that they've just put a little dusting of ingredients so they can include
like
it on the
coloring.
label.
It's right. Just like when you make a Jell-O or something.
Right. And it really, the good ingredients that are below that level, that are at the very bottom, really aren't contributing mm-hmm. Anything.
So they're just there for marketing.
Yes.
I mean, essentially. And that's the important thing you have to keep in mind, that we are living in a time where there's so much trending going on. Mm-hmm. If avocados are hot, they put avocados in. And now apricot kernel oil has been around a long time right. with a great legacy. So it's one of the main ingredients. Is it in, so I've got the Serious Skin. I'll show you this too. See, can you see that? Is it in the Serious Skin? Is it in the scar support? Or is it mainly in the relief?
It's only in the skin relief. And
okay.
That's why we recommend using the skin relief with the scar and with the Serious Skin, because they're complementary mm-hmm. formulas. They have different things. I mean, you can't really put everything into one product and have it effective.
We were talking a little bit about the mechanism of absorption and how the skin actually receives these nutrients. And you were talking earlier about the skin addiction setup. Never
Right.
would have thought, but you got to keep rubbing and you keep rubbing, but you're actually drying your skin out. It's a hard thing to kind of conceptualize that if you're putting something in, it's actually pulling out.
Right. Well, the glycerin actually doesn't go, or at least not much of it, doesn't go into the skin. It's what it's doing is pulling things out. And so instead, what you want are nutrients in your product that will absorb into the skin.
Right.
It's kind of like if you were building a brick wall, you need to have mortar in order for the bricks to stick together, right? Well, when your skin is injured, it needs nutrients as building blocks to repair the damage. And so the goal is that we treat this more holistically in that we're providing the nutrients that the skin needs to take care of whatever the problem is.
So the main, and when I put this on the scar support, this goes in so fast, you can literally watch it absorb.
Right.
I've never seen that. Like sometimes how you put creams on and they just don't seem to go in.
Right. Because your body either can't use the ingredients that are there, or there's no damage, so it doesn't need the nutrients. And what you'll find with the scar cream is over time, as your scar gets better, you'll find it absorbs slower.
Oh, interesting.
Because
Okay.
it doesn't need as much.
So I will also do this white. See that? And I was thinking, and I asked you this, why is the cream white? And that was fascinating what you said. So explain that it's not like we use white cream to start and then you add this stuff to it.
Right. Well, this is the benefit of internet research. You can ask those questions, right?
Right. I asked that question and then suddenly somebody else did too.
Right. So
This stuff is so good.
the base for all creams is water. That's what makes it a cream, is the fact that it's mostly water. Even the ones that say aloe vera juice, like you pointed out, those are still mostly water. And what you do is you disperse the oil into it, and that goes in as small droplets. And then the small droplets will scatter the light, and so it has the appearance of white.
So it's the light.
Yeah.
See, this is very deep. That it's the light. It's always been about the light. We know that. I've been in the cosmetic industry as long as I've been, well, longer, because I was also a cosmetologist. I was actually a Hollywood barber. That was the anti-thing to say. Like I would say, I'm a barber, and people would be like, you can't be a barber, you need to be a stylist. And I would say, no, I'm a barber. So I've been around it through the trending from a chemically based life is better with chemicals to life is not better with chemicals, but everything is a chemical.
That's correct.
So it's kind of confusing. And you were talking before when we first met about the names of products so that it can be kind of confusing. We have about a minute here. Like you read it and you think, oh, that's a chemical. Explain that.
Well, like you said, everything is a chemical. And unfortunately, there's been a trend lately to say if you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't use it. And you shouldn't use things that are chemical. And without putting too fine a point on it, that's just nonsense, because everything's a chemical. And so what we're looking for is not things that have a nice sounding name. Glycerin is an easy to pronounce name. It's not a big deal, and it's not a good ingredient. If you look at the chemical names for lemon juice, citric acid, it has this huge name. I don't even remember how to pronounce it. But it's a good ingredient. You use it every time you squeeze a lemon and have fish or whatever. There's nothing wrong with it just because it has an unpronounceable name.
Yes, you have to become aware, like phosphatidylserine, which is from lecithin, which is incredible for short-term memory.
There you
So
go.
there's a,
That's a great example.
Yeah, so PS, you can look for it if you went to a natural product store. It happens to be one of my favorite short-term memory products. But if you didn't know that phosphatidylserine was from lecithin, then you might push away from it. So we see these, but with most of yours, you have myrrh. Well, and it has some on here. Shea butter. They also have products like here. You can say it, so I can't pronounce all of them.
Well, the thing with the plant extracts is you have the common name like starflower seed oil, and then there's a technical name like the borage officinalis, but then that really hides the complexity. So in any one of these plant extracts, there won't be just one thing. There will be hundreds of ingredients in there, hundreds of different chemicals that provide benefits to the body.
Right.
So apricot kernel oil has, I think, it's either 9 or a dozen. It has a bunch of different essential fatty acids that all contribute. So a typical cell in the human body will have anywhere from 3,500 to 4,500 different chemicals in it. So what we're trying to do is match that complexity with the complexity that's already built into plant extracts.
All right, well, we'll talk more about the complexity. There's so much to come. And Sylvia Nibley's going to join us. Our injured souls will come and be shared to you. We're here with Stuart Harris. The company is Miracell, and we're going to give you some free samples, so stick around. And if you're driving, just go back to DanielleLin.com, sign up. I'll show you there's a little image there. You can click there and you can get all the free samples.